Alright, what's up, guys? So, Hot T, she has uploaded a video titled Blake Lively is Coming for YouTubers. The Baldoni, I think that's how you say their last name, lawsuit just got messy. Yeah, so for those that don't know, Blake Lively, she's Ryan Reynolds' wife. But yeah, she's been in a lot of controversy lately. I think she said I honestly I can't, most likely it's gonna be talked about in this video. But yeah, I think it was like she's been like saying things about people. It's been upsetting others, and then yeah, people have been talking about her. I think I did hear something about her getting into it with like content creators or something like that. I feel like that's striking a memory, but I don't know. Like I'm seeing so many different things throughout the day. I'm like I don't yeah, I don't know. I can't remember, but most likely, yeah, everything's gonna be discussed in this video. So guys, make sure if you guys haven't, go subscribe to Hot T. Show her the most amount of love and support. Good friend of mine for years now. But yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy to think that. It doesn't even seem like it. It seems like it's been 2 years and some. But I've known her since, I think it was, yeah, 2020. I think 2020 is when I very first discovered her channel. But anyways, let's go ahead and get to this video.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about something I came across recently that I think is insane. And yes, you read the title right. Blake Lively is fully trying to get YouTubers in legal trouble. Okay, first off, just a brief recap for those who don't know what's going on. So in 2024, there was a movie coming out named It Ends With Us, with Blake Lively starring as a lead and Justin Baldoni starring as a lead alongside being the director and an executive producer. Although they started filming in early 2024, it was only in December when everything leaked that they had tensions brewing between them. So when a movie comes out featuring a few celebrities, they always go on press tours, answer questions together, and sometimes even play up the couple aspect for the audience. Well, for this film, as the film was being rolled out, people noticed that Justin and Blake were never really together. Audiences were not aware of the tensions but could see something going on. The film follows a character named Lily Bloom, aka Blake, who is chasing her dream to open her first flower shop before she meets Baldoni's character and falls in love. Baldoni's character turns very dark and abusive, so the film has themes of DV and is very heavy topic-wise. So what does Blake do during the rollout? Well, she uses the tour to advertise her own company's products and encourages fans to get their florals on and watch the movie without showing much sensitivity for the theme. And clips of her interviews started going viral.
Lily Bloom is, oh, look at me in flowers, Lily Bloom. It's neoprene. Things like go deep sea diving in it. I think I put more into that movie than this.
That's awesome. I'm going to jump into this, and Blake, I'm going to start with you to run into a celebrity in public. We only have a few moments to maybe speak with you guys, but for people who see this movie, who relate to the topics of this movie on a deeply personal level, they're really going to want to talk to you. This movie is going to affect people, and they're going to want to tell you about their lives. So if someone understands the themes of this movie, comes across you in public, and they want to really talk to you, what's the best way for them to be able to talk to you about this? How would you recommend they go about it?
It's before he even gets into it, I just don't, it's, you read it, it's like, you know, she's getting there to say something that don't make no sense. Please don't, please. This is like when watching the movie in theaters, when you're like, please don't go into that room. The killer is in there. Don't go in that room. Leave that room alone. Go away. Just leave. Let's see what she's getting ready to say.
Like my address or my phone number or like my location share. Or I could just location share you and then we could
As people were picking her apart.
That's bad. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, she you know what? I ain't gonna say nothing, because if she hits me with a lawsuit, I'm like, hey, look, I'm like, I support your husband. I'm like, I seen all the Deadpool movies and things. I mean, I bought the game. The game came out before I think he got signed in for the movies. But I'm saying I don't watch outside of Deadpool. He's like, yeah, I'm a fan, but I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
And digging up interviews from her past, Justin was received differently. I mean, we have to remember he's the director of the film, so obviously understands how to talk about it way better. But anyway, he approached it in a completely different way.
One of the things that I think is very easy to say, especially for us men, is when we maybe talk to somebody who's in the situation, or we read a book, or we or we hear a news story, the question that's always asked is, why did she stay? And that's the wrong question. What we need to be asking ourselves is, why do men harm?
At the time of the press's release, the tide was going one way with Blake and another way with Justin. So many things started leaking about Blake, specifically one past interview where people started labeling her as a mean girl.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Oh yeah.
Congrats on your.
Yeah, this was the one that I seen, and I was like, this just, you know, I don't, that's something that I would never, unless like you can visibly see that the woman is pregnant, or it was announced like prior beforehand that that the woman was pregnant. That'd be the only times. I'm not just going to like to flip a coin in the air about like, okay, heads you're pregnant, tails you're not, and then like, oh, okay, cool. So yeah, that's all. I'm like, the interviewer, I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't have came out and said no, unless like if it was like discussed or said beforehand that she was pregnant, then okay, I don't know what her problem was then, Blake Lively. But yeah, that, cause yeah, the way that she approached it, they're gonna say that the interviewer was pregnant, and it's like, yeah, I just, you know, I just gotta do what this girl's doing. Just sit there and just be like, I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm gonna just, you know, or I'll try to like jump in and be like, hey, so, you know, what about that baseball team? I don't even watch baseball, but what about them? Let's just talk about the baseball team.
You like the movie? Are you a Woody Allen fan?
I love most of his movies, and this one was so like visually amazing.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Did you guys love wearing those kind of clothes that you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, working in
Everyone wants to
digital.
talk about the clothes, but I wonder if they would ask the men about the clothes.
I would.
I love Jesse's suits and
That's what I'm saying. His wardrobe was beautiful.
I know,
Corey's
everybody.
wardrobe was
I know,
gorgeous.
he's
Those
so
high-waisted pants.
He's so great.
I wish men
And
wore
sorry,
high-waisted pants
too.
like
I
that
know.
still. Their father with his tank top.
So
on.
weird.
It's like, it's just like
Did you
that.
catch the
That
video of
is
the tablecloth
so
on the
weird.
light in the Italian?
Interviewer is like, okay, I was conducting an interview here, so it's like you guys just got into a whole conversation. That's yeah, I remember when this video went viral, and I'm like, man, I don't know what her issue is, but I'm like, maybe she shouldn't do interviews no more. I'm like, leave that interview stuff alone.
I didn't notice that. No.
Not to mention, people started noticing Justin wasn't even at the premiere standing next to Blake on the red carpet, and apparently he was asked to go with his family somewhere separate to watch the film premiere. So people started digging. What exactly happened? December of 2024 hits, and there's articles starting to leak slowly saying things like, months after rumors of a rift surfaced around the film's premiere, Lively filed a complaint against Baldoni, producer Jamie Heath and Baldoni's production company Wayfarer Studios, as well as its co-founder Steve Sarowitz, claiming sexual harassment and an alleged retaliatory public smear campaign to, quote, destroy her reputation. So now people started turning on Justin because there are seriously huge and disgusting claims. The New York Times then does an investigation on the case and reports the results. They're not really in Justin's favor. They further support the claims that there was a smear campaign orchestrated by Justin and his team, among many other horrible allegations like sexual harassment and invasion of privacy. Baldoni hits back with a $250 million lawsuit against the New York Times for defamation, and then one against Blake Lively and her husband Ryan Reynolds for civil extortion, defamation, and more for over $400 million. Now, we won't dive too deep into the legal proceedings in this video, but if you would like me to deep dive on that, let me know in the comments down below. Anyway, all of this was going on, so as tea and gossip channels do, they reported on it. Well, apparently Blake is especially not happy with YouTube and certain creators for covering her drama in such depth. I found an article from as early as February of this year where apparently Blake started to slowly come at online creators saying they're parroting Justin's narrative and almost like working for him. So basically, Blake asked for a protective order to maintain the privacy of some information of high-profile people involved in the case, like health records, personal information, financial data, etc. Justin's lawyers say that's fine, but not the heightened layer of secrecy that Blake is suggesting. They also hit back by saying that even Ryan was mentioning the case on SNL, and Blake is only doing this because of her reputation tarnishing. Blake's team responds, arguing that Baldoni's response shows exactly why a protective order is needed. They noted the existence of certain online content creators who frequently parrots the Wayfarer party's line, As examples, they cited Perez Hilton and Candace Owens and noted that Hilton and Baldoni have been both represented by attorney Brian Friedman. They also argued that such online discussion influences me.
Perez Hilton, I'm like, that's a name. I haven't heard of that name in a while, but yeah, I was like, that's a name where it's like you've seen it in a couple of like controversial topics and things, like where it's just like, you know, something controversial is going down or something's going on, then you see his name caught in the middle of it and stuff.
Media coverage of the case to Lively's
familiar
disadvantage.
with him. Candace Owens, I feel like I've heard of that name. I don't want to get that person confused or that name confused with somebody, because I'm thinking of somebody, but I'm like, that might not be it.
So this was an early mention of online creators, but it kind of died down after that as they focused on legal proceedings. Well, it's summer 2025 and this topic is back on the table. Several creators have started receiving emails from Big YouTube that they are being subpoenaed by Blake's lawyers for their information, and they had to provide certain info to YouTube to pass on to Blake's lawyers.
Oh, wow.
Wild, I know. So let me go through the people I've come across.
Crazy.
First of all, someone who was mentioned in the Variety article and is one of the OG internet gossipers, Perez Hilton. He uploaded a TikTok saying,
I am officially the latest victim of the zero-time Oscar-nominated actress. Yay! Documents to be produced. Request for production number 1. All documents and communications concerning any agreements, draft or final, you have with anyone, including but not limited to counsel for the Wayfarer parties that were effective at any point from May 1st, 2024 through the present, without regard to the date of drafting or execution, concerning the consolidated action, Miss Lively, Mr. Reynolds, any Wayfarer defendant, the digital campaign, the marketing plan, the film. I have not yet responded to this subpoena, which was just served to me today.
Yeah, that's
I am
crazy.
representing myself. I don't have a lawyer working with me on this, so it's going to take me some time to thoroughly digest this, and I have 14 days to officially respond. But right off the bat, the wording of this is extremely problematic.
He goes on to say that they asked him for any messages exchanged with any parties about the film, the marketing, Ryan Reynolds, or Blake Lively. They also asked him for all the documents regarding his, quote, services on social media as it connects to this, and they asked for any blind items that he might have also seen. He kind of picks this.
That would be some crazy stuff. I'm like, man, I like you talk about somebody. See, that's what I'm like with me. I just, you know, I add my reaction to stuff. You know, I'm just like that. So, because I'm like, yeah, if that would be crazy though. Like all of a sudden I get a thing from YouTube, yeah, like, oh yeah, Blake Lively is suing you for your reaction to her video and stuff. I'm like, damn, I can't have a reaction to stuff now. I'm like, yeah, that's but still though, I just think that that's one of those things where, you know, I think that she's looking too deep into the situation. You know, at the end of the day, it's like, if you know that the individual, because like I hadn't had where content creators then came out and said, and yeah, overall tried to like spread a lie about me and stuff. And if it's a lie, then it's like, you got nothing to worry about. But then, I mean, if they tell the truth, I think that's like when you start seeing people, they start flipping out. I don't know. I feel like people, they just handle things differently, but it's like, yeah, if you know that the person's lying on your name, you shouldn't even trip about it. But I mean, if they tell the truth, then yeah, that's what you do see stuff like this, where they start suing people and trying to subpoena people and take people to court and stuff.
Subpoena request apart and calls it a whole fail. Remember when I mentioned in February that Blake is basically making a case that online creators are directly working to push Justin's narrative? Well, Perez wasn't alone in this blame game. Fellow YouTuber Sash was also part of the subpoena. Wow. She released a video on TikTok recently saying,
just posted a YouTube video about this Blake Lively legal headache I'm dealing with right now, because her and her team are under the impression that these 16 creators, me being one of them, was paid by Justin and his team to make content about Blake Lively, which is not the case here.
Like, yeah, if I would have got a thing type, Blake Lively type, I'm like, I am broke. I'm like, I wish I was getting paid. My thing is this: the way that I'm talking now, this is just how I talk on a 24/7 like basis and things. If like, let's say this Justin guy, he contacted me and was all like, oh, I want to pay you like $10 million to talk bad about Blake Lively or something, trust me, you guys would be able to see the difference. If I'm being paid $10 million to talk crazy about Blake Lively, fam, I would have done a diss track. I would have done like a 15-hour long video. My thing is this. I would have done like a movie. I would have did like a whole acted out movie. I had contacted friends, family. I did any and everything possible. I went to one of them acting coaches. I said, I need you guys to cause me to cry or something like that. Trust me, $10 million. But I'm like, yeah, but my thing is this. If I do say anything about her, I'm like, fam, I have not been paid by nobody. I am saying this on my own free will. I think what she got going on, it's like, yeah, it's just, it seems like she got problems, and yeah, it's like, and if you go around suing these content creators, it's like, fam, this is their job. I'm like, this is what content creators do. They talk about stuff, yeah, maybe not all of them, but like, yeah, there are gonna be somewhere, if this is the content that they specialize in, it just shows like how like out of tune. It's funny how they were saying that she was like kind of just out of it in that interview, but yeah, it's like you seem out of it even just with like day-to-day lives. That's what I'm saying. Like, people, y'all need to like, before I guess like you start making assumptions and stuff, you need to like do research, because yeah, that I guarantee and I promise you, spill Sash, Perez Hilton. I'm like, yeah, that was a tongue twister almost. But anyways, yeah, it's like they don't know this Justin Baldoni guy, or there ain't cahoots or being paid. It's like, yeah, they just, whatever they saying, that's what they felt like saying. So just like how you have you're entitled to your opinion about stuff, that's how these guys are.
Of course, I have nothing to hide, so it's like not a big stress. It's annoying, like having to pay my lawyer to handle all of this and like call Big Slayer and be like, what do you guys actually want? Because they were being very vague. They were like, we want your name, email, bank account information. And with this case being super public, it's like, well, is there a protective order? Let me make sure that if you're going to be scanning through all of this stuff, that you're going to keep that stuff under wraps. And as you can see, I made a lot of videos on Blake and Justin. And no one's ever paid me to say anything bad about Blake Lively. I just don't think that coming after creators is the move, because there were so many people when the movie came out that were saying and feeling like she just totally missed the mark, the way that she was promoting all of her brands at the same time as this movie, making it seem like this frilly little rom-com. And I just feel like nobody needed to get paid in order to see and feel like that just wasn't it.
Blake also came for Candace Owens, who she also mentioned in the Variety article. Candace had this to say.
Somebody check on Noah, please. Here it is. Here it is. Poor Noah, my lawyer. Or rich Noah, my lawyer, because my legal life seems to be never ceasing. It just continues to go. Now, I've received my subpoena from Blake Lively today. I'll tell you what is in it, because in my opinion, she's kind of admitting that she cannot prove that there was a smear campaign. And I'll tell you why I think that and how I got there.
So she goes on to say that she was in a text chain with her PR manager and some others, and they said someone was served who works at TMZ by Blake, so they warned her to look out for this, basically. She said that the guy who served it was really nice and sweet, but called Blake a fan for her never-ending lawsuit.
It doesn't make any sense. Let's slow that down here, because I think we're realizing something. It would make perfect sense that the judge, as he did, would grant them some sort of a limited subpoena to go ahead and prove their point. But let's not forget, Blake Lively is suing, among many other people, Jennifer Abel, Wayfarer Studios, Melissa Nathan, because she believes that while she was in a contract with Wayfarer Studios, they undermined her by hiring a crisis PR firm in the form of Melissa Nathan and Jennifer Abel to plant awful articles about her, thereby ruining her brand, making people hate her on the internet. Essentially, she believes that traffic was inorganic. Now, and they worked with some guy in Texas named Jared who had access to Reddit to make that happen.
Like, it trips me out. Like, people, they know that they have problems, but they just can't admit to it, where it's like, and then I feel like if you like ask those around her and stuff, because I don't know, maybe Ryan Reynolds might have came out to her defense, and it's like, well, of course, it's her husband and things, but if not, that it's like, I feel like that the silence, it speaks for itself, so it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, if he hasn't came out and talked about this and he's just focused on it, maybe she was all like, no, like, let me figure this out on my own, then I'm like, that could be the case too. But yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, it's, if you got like problems or whatever and stuff, like she just comes off as somebody where it's like, you get in a room with somebody, it's gonna be some like tension and stuff. Yeah, it's one of you need to realize that, you need to understand that, and it's like, it ain't people against you, it's just that you have an odd way of, I guess, just being around people, and so yeah, they're going to talk about that in things. But
nobody could actually dislike her answers about her hair products. So what I think they're doing here is I called them like, this is weird. Obviously, she knows for a fact that we are not going to allow her to have access to every text message and email pertaining to her and Ryan Reynolds and Wayfarer Studios, because she watched me live say, now that I'm interested in this story, which my interest began on January 25th. Now that I'm interested, I am opening up a tips line, and I am saying to all of the mommy slews and the daddy slews, anybody that's known Ryan or anybody that has an inside scoop, to email me so that I have, something to share with the public about them. And 10,000 emails that we have received since we opened up this tip line. I went through it. I mean, I was like, this would be insane for you to ask me for this information. She's coming from the mommy sleuth. She's like, I want to know every Barbara and Sandy and Megan and every person that emailed you. Absolutely not. She knows we're going to say you can't read that. Of course she's going to say we can't read that. So why is she asking? Something must be hidden, because they still believe that the public is still stupid to comprehend what's happening here. This is effectively a PR strategy.
I'm like, especially if there ain't nothing there, I'm like, so what do you want to like look for? Especially because I'm like, if you think we talking about you like that, I'm like, look, my thing is this: the only time if I'm having a conversation about like somebody on the internet, it's like it's vocal, where it's like I'm sitting face to face with that person talking to them. But I've never been in a situation. Yeah, I guess if somebody there are like, hey, what's going on? Then I might let them know. But I'm like, it's stuff that you already know. So it's like, what are you really looking for? But
of course, we are going to say we're not giving up. That's why it's a fishing expedition, because she wants to know now who's talking trash about her. Wake up, sweetheart. It's everyone. Everyone dislikes you, because after Brian Friedman dropped the receipts, we all got invested, and we're covering this organically. Okay, then nobody's paying me. Nobody's giving me talking points. And so when I said to Noah on the phone, I said, call Michael Gottlieb, that's her lawyer, who's signed this or sent this over, who's an idiot. By the way, Michael Gottlieb, if you're watching, no hard feelings, you're an idiot. See your strategy from along. Actually, you might be smart, because you might just be running out the bill here. At first sending this ridiculous subpoena, and then saying, no, I have to send another one. I said, tell me, we'll willfully give him every piece of information that he wants leading up to when he filed this lawsuit. But obviously, we are going to assert reporter's privilege to protect our sources for how we got information about Blake Lively following her lawsuit being filed. I mean, common sense.
We do know that there are 16 online content creators who are part of this, some YouTubers and some people from TMZ, etc. And so far, of course, we know these three, but there's more that I'm sure will come out over the next few days. We will definitely be keeping an eye out on this story.
yeah.
So what do you guys think about all of this? It is so wild. Do you think that this will be a start to a new precedent of celebrities coming for YouTubers legally or for talking about them? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. As always, feel free to leave this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new tea spills from us. And for now, here is some much needed eye bleach.
Yeah, I'm like, see, that's what we need to be like paying attention to. I probably would have stood there. And, the dogs, they would have woke up, been thinking that I was weird. But I'm like, yeah, that's just stuff that you gotta watch. You see two dogs sleeping, they all close to one another. It's like, yeah, that's cute stuff. Like, that's what people want to look at. But yeah, you get like a subpoena thing from Blake Lively's lawyer and stuff. It's like, fam, what is going? But here's my thought on the whole thing. I think that whatever she's thinking that people are like doing behind her back, she needs to let that go. I'm like, it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't know too much about her. I don't care for knowing too much about her. But it's one of those things where it's like, you shouldn't allow yourself to get so upset over if you hear like, somebody talking behind your back. Okay, they talking behind your back. Don't be around those people no more. But yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, if it's overall, I'm like, I just think that she has problems. I said that already. And I think she needs to handle that stuff, whether it's going to go seek counseling, therapy, or just taking a break from acting or whatever and stuff. Because, it's like, I bet you if you got like a busy life, and things like your just day-to-day life, it's extremely busy. Then yeah, I imagine that, you ain't gonna be thinking straight. You're gonna be thinking stuff that's not even going on. And it's gonna be a lot of unnecessary amounts of stress. So yeah, I just think that she needs to just take a break from her day-to-day life, go on a vacation, relax a little bit. What else? Drink, get you, go to the islands of Fiji and drink you some Fiji water and stuff, So yeah, do that. Like live, like have a little bit of fun, relax, and then go back to your day-to-day life and things when you need to and stuff. But Anyways, but yeah, make sure if you guys haven't, go subscribe to Hot Tea. Show her the most about love and support. I was thinking that though with Hot Tea. I'm like, no, she should come out with a podcast and then have it where it's like you could like it's just like random guests and things, whether it's like a virtual like situation or it's like we sitting in the room and stuff. But yeah, we just sit, drink hot tea, and then we just talk about whatever is going on in the world. I feel like that's a good idea for the Hot Tea channel and stuff. But anyways, yeah, make sure if you guys haven't, go subscribe to Hot Tea. Show love, show support, like, subscribe to me too. And I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.